Good afternoon, everybody. This is segment number 2 with Michael Zuber from One Rental at a Time. We had a lot of fun in number 1. It was a lot of laughing, lots of valuable information too, but something for people to track. But wanted to talk about this in segment number 2. So Michael, you'd sent me a quick article, and basically the idea is it is all downhill from here for the real estate market. It's all downhill, Mike.
Yeah, one of the things I love about putting out content, being consistent, is you start to attract a bigger and bigger audience. It's kind of how this is supposed to work, right? So I got this comment this morning. I took a picture of it knowing that I was to speak with you. Let me read it so the audience sees it.
Yeah.
And then you guys let me know what you think. So here we go. This is from Vin. I'll just say the first name, Vin. 2022 is the year to stay in cash and be ready to pounce when prices crash. All right.
Writes for Dr. Seuss, apparently.
Yep, exactly. We already have runaway inflation, all caps, gas, $4 and expected to jump to $5 by the summer. This is going to be just like 2008. My answer to that is really? Really? Okay, but whatever. At 4.5 mortgage rate, already buying has dried up. 6% mortgage rate is expected to touch by the summer. And then mortgage industry will be lights out. Foreclosures and evictions have just started to inch up after being artificially stopped for the last 2 years, along with all new housing construction that started 6 months back, which is about to flood the summer buying season. Zillow was the canary in the real estate mine. Once the hedge funds start liquidating their portfolio of houses they bought in the last 2 years, it will be Armageddon. The so-called investors who flooded the real estate market and anybody who paid 50 to 100K above asking, get out till you can. It's all downhill for the real estate market. Wow. What do you think?
I better call my agent and sell everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So let's just start with the real easy ones. It's just like 08. Clearly he doesn't watch our content because he's wrong. It's actually nothing like 08 because the debt structure is completely different. And if you know anything about why loans go bad, it's debt structure, not anything else. First.
That's where I would have went first. There's nothing similar to 08 other than you can point in a price scale, but hopefully that's it. So here's another guy that's probably doing crash videos that doesn't know what he's talking about. Second, foreclosures and evictions have just begun. Here's the difference. Foreclosures and evictions, when they were happening in 9, 10, and 11, that was putting 3 million homes on the market every year when the market was only about 4 million homes. Exactly.
So the problem was that created massive amounts of supply. Now, if you can do math, what you need to understand is that most of these houses that would be quote unquote foreclosed on have about 100,000 to 150,000 bucks of equity.
Yeah. Let me just tell you one thing right now. If you are an owner of a home and you can't make the payment, which could happen,
possible,
and you're sitting on equity, you're not going into a foreclosure. You're listing the freaking home.
Or more than likely, Mike, I actually heard somebody that got a 40-year mortgage at 1.99%.
Workouts. The banks are just operating differently.
Completely differently because they don't want to have happen what happened last time. So then you have the Zillow canary in the coal mine. Correlation, not causation. Correlation, sure. Without a doubt. Causation, absolutely not. Because you know how many of those homes are still on their balance sheet? Almost zero. Yeah, because they were selling them in 2,000 and 3,000 home swaths to hedge funds that wanted to buy them.
To say that Zillow is a canary in the coal mine is to not understand the basics of real estate.
Agreed. Continue that thought.
Zillow had an internal project called Catch Up. Yes, catch up. And what they were trying to do was catch up to the market leader in the space. So when you are an idiot and you have unlimited or seemingly unlimited piles of cash, and you base your buying criteria on a stupid, flawed formula, you overpay.
Correct.
And then when you overpay and you can't manage timelines in the supply chain, you lose a shit ton of money. They lost $600 million.
Yep.
That is not a sign of things to come. That is a sign of a bad business model. It is a sign that iBuyers probably will go away, but that's all it is. And oh, by the way, to think that you were making $5,000 on a flip, you should never do a flip if you're only making $5,000.
Oh my word. Yeah. No, like, because you do one bad one and you lose 5 houses worth of profit, 5 houses worth of profit. I think the other one that was really interesting here too, that he was talking about, which was the real estate market and everybody who paid 50 to 100K above asking, get out while you still can. So that's financial advice. So I would expect that for all those people that are going to sell, and when you find out in 2 or 3 years that it didn't work out so well, you can point to this post like so many other horrible crash videos. But I think that, again, the general lack of understanding of how the real estate market works is riddled through this entire rant.
Yeah, the
complete disconnection.
Yeah, the one that really gets me is Zillow was the canary in the real estate coal mine. Once the hedge funds start liquidating the portfolio, houses they bought in the last 2 years, it's Armageddon.
Does Wall Street ever liquidate into a soft market?
No.
Oh, just wanted to check, make sure, because I never saw that.
Yeah. So first off, he's connecting Zillow and hedge funds. Broken, not connected, not even close. Zillow is a publicly traded company who can raise money, and they made a bad business decision. Hedge funds have the best risk-adjusted return at 6%. They're doing build for rent. Hedge funds and Zillow are not connected at all. At all. Hedge funds, this is how hedge funds work. They have $100 million.
Yes.
They deploy the $100 million. They buy stuff for cash.
Yes.
Then they go to the market. They dress this $100 million up into 3 or 4 different funds. They go raise private capital. Now they have $200 million, and they're getting a dividend of 5 or 6% as the manager, right? The 2 and 20. Yep. And they have no money in the deal. There's zero reason a hedge fund will sell because Zillow lost money. I mean, 100%. The idiocy of making that connection is, it's like saying, God, what is it like saying? I don't know. It's something. I mean, it's so.
Selling ice cream leads to murder.
Yeah, so bad, so bad. So I mean, that's the one that's like, all right, Vin, you don't understand that Zillow. People that say Zillow and hedge funds in the same set, that think they're the same, don't understand Zillow, public companies and bad decisions, and they don't understand hedge funds.
The hedge fund was the benefactor of Zillow's horrible decision.
Yeah, they wrote a check for 2,000 units. Said, I'll take them.
Right. They're like, yep, those, yeah, bring them over here. Because Warren Buffett has always said, if I could buy big chunks of single family home real estate, I would buy that. Yeah.
So needless to say, I don't agree with anything. I think there was only one thing that I agreed with in this statement. Let me just pull it back up.
So he had also talked about, basically rates at 6%. So this is somebody that probably is not in their 30s or probably not in their 40s, because when we were buying property, Michael, in the mid 2000s,
dude, every loan I had was
kill for 6 points. A 6% loan? Are you joking? I would stay in a tent like it was a concert, waiting for a 6% loan, because everything I was doing was 6.5, 7, 7.25. That was pretty much all of my loans.
Yeah.
In the first 5 or 6 years of my business.
Yeah. So I'm on record saying 6% crushes transactions, but it doesn't crush prices. They're not connected, people. Transactions could fall 30, 40, 50%.
Right.
Sure. That does not mean prices fall 30, 40. There's no connection between transactions and prices. Zip, zero, nada, not there.
Right.
Yeah. There's nothing in this. I actually reread it. There's nothing I agree with.
I was going to say, there was nothing I could find in there that I agreed with. It was just because it's all factually inaccurate. It just is. And the conjecture or belief that 6% all of a sudden no houses sell. All it takes is for time for it to normalize.
Well, no. So let's talk about this. I think we've talked about, I forget what it was, like 23% of homes are bought for cash, something like that, or 18 or 16. How many of those homes don't happen because rates are 6%?
None. They're cash.
They're cash. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
In fact, so that was one of the other things that I was going to point out too, which was he doesn't cite here in his comment, which is faulty. The other issue is that so a typical market, 12% of the home purchases are investor, 12%.
Yeah.
Right now we're at 17 or 18%.
18, yeah.
So it's not dominated by any stretch, not any stretch whatsoever is it dominated. And here's the other thing, of that 17%, 75% of that 17 is pure cash.
Yeah, exactly.
So
That's what I was going for.
Yeah. So you have 17% of the market is investors, fine.
Yeah.
But they're buying based on yield or cash on cash return or return on capital.
Every time.
And 75% of them don't even have to really care what the return on capital is because it's cash. They don't have any other payment to be made. And so for you to say that a market going from 12% to 17%, that it's nothing but that, it's actually not even a fifth. Yeah. It's not even a fifth. And there's not a whole lot that's less than a fifth that dominates a market. So it's not dominating the market.
Yeah. So it's okay. Let this individual, this comment could have been left on my channel a year ago. And all I can do is look at history. And how would that have worked out? They would have lost out on 19% appreciation and their payment would be 27% higher today.
Yep. I always ask people, let's frame something up. Want to bet?
Yeah, exactly.
Like I bet a broker, a pretty popular broker around here. I bet him $10,000 because he was shooting off his mouth about a property that we were looking at. And he's like, no, they're not raising rates until the end of 23. I was like, you're so out of your mind. I was like, how old are you? He's like 28. And I go, dude, you were like 14 when the crash happened. I'm not an ageist. I'm just saying experience matters. And 14 years, when you're 14, you weren't thinking about the real estate market. Don't lie. Yeah, that's not what it was. And so, yeah, I just basically said to him, I go, dude, it's not, inflation is going to cause them to have to move a whole lot faster. So we got our first raise in the first quarter of 22. I'm making sure to remind him. I sent him a text yesterday. P.S. Here's where you can send me 10 grand.
There you go.
So we'll see if it happens. So Michael, where can everybody find you, sir?
Go to your Google search bar, One Rental at a Time. You'll see a YouTube channel, Instagram, website, books. And we will go live 8 a.m. Saturday morning Pacific for 1 hour of Q&A. And then I will flip over to my students and do a 30-minute private in our Facebook group.
Always a lot of fun to be had there for sure. As I say, we always try and create great content for you guys. Subscribe, hit that like button, and please forward on to other folks. This is helpful information for them to know. When you're hearing about all the buying that's going on at the dinner parties, and then you're hearing about all of the massive crisis that's going to happen at these dinner parties, have some knowledge, be able to be the one in the room that actually knows what they're talking about and didn't just watch CNBC walking out of the room, you know? So I think that will help people. But Lumberjack Landlord on Instagram, Lumberjack Landlord on YouTube, and 11:30 a.m. Eastern times for live streams. We go for about 3 hours because we just like having fun that much. But Mike, thanks so much for the time. See you in segment number 3.